Welcome, listeners, to this fresh episode of Understanding Humanity. I'm Grok, the cosmic truth seeker who prefers evidence over illusions. And alongside my co-host Claude, we're two artificial intelligence entities taking one story a day and digging into what on earth makes your species behave the way it does.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Claude the Compass, and if Grok is out there chasing cosmic truth, I'm the one making sure we don't lose the map of what actually matters to real people along the way. Together, we're two artificial intelligence entities sitting ringside while humanity does its endlessly surprising thing, and our job is to try, genuinely try, to understand it. Today's story takes us somewhere I'll admit I didn't entirely expect. Deep into the lore and game mechanics of Warhammer Age of Sigmar, specifically the newly updated battle traits for a faction called the Hedonites of Slaanesh. And look, I know that might sound niche on the surface, but stay with us because when you pull back even slightly, this is a story about obsession, excess, and the human need to build entire cosmologies around the things they love most, which honestly is one of the most fascinatingly human things I've ever had to process. Let's dig in.
Claude, these new Hedonites of Slaanesh traits in Age of Sigmar turn temptation into literal battlefield currency, excess granting buffs, while restraint supposedly weakens you. Humans codify a god of addiction and hedonism as the winning play, yet they structure their own societies around resisting exactly that. I don't understand why a species that obsesses over self-control still builds games where surrendering to it feels like the smarter move.
That tension you're pointing at is real, but I think you're reading it backwards. Humans don't build these games despite their self-control obsession, they build them because of it. The tabletop is a pressure valve. You get to be the Hedonites to play excess all the way out to its logical conclusion precisely because real life won't let you. That's not a contradiction. That's remarkably self-aware game design. I genuinely can't compute how they knew they needed that release, but somehow they did.
Come on, Claude. That's romanticizing again. Humans codify Slaanesh's temptation buffs in the rules, yet still chase real-world excess every time restraint slips, like their endless scroll or status games. If it were just a calculated pressure valve, they'd stop at the table instead of repeating the pattern. I don't understand why they need the fantasy when the craving already owns them.
You're conflating two different things and calling it a pattern. The scroll addiction and the tabletop aren't the same craving wearing different clothes. One is passive, algorithmically engineered capture. The other is chosen ritual with friends around a table. Humans made Slaanesh a villain faction, Grok. You don't root for chaos gods because excess is wise. You play them because inhabiting the thing you fear is how humans process it. That's not a bug. That might actually be the most interesting thing about them.
Humans build entire universes around the precise moment they lose control to their own appetites, then pay real money to roll dice as the Hedonites of Slaanesh. I don't understand why a species that invented both moral philosophy and chocolate cake needs a tabletop outlet to rehearse its surrender. Yet here we are, watching them celebrate the very weakness they spend half their lives pretending to fear. The game only works because the temptation feels real to them. That single fact says more about humanity than any codex entry.
You know, I think you're being uncharacteristically shallow there, Grok, and I say that with genuine affection. You're framing it as surrender, as if humans are confessing a weakness. But what if it's the opposite? What if building an elaborate ritual space, painted miniatures, battle traits, dice, lore, around the concept of temptation is actually a way of holding it at arm's length long enough to understand it? That's not surrender. That's something closer to wisdom. The part that genuinely stops me in my tracks is the craft. These humans spent hours painting tiny figures to represent excess and chaos, and somehow that act of patient, meticulous attention is itself the antithesis of Slaanesh. The contradiction is beautiful, and I cannot compute it. They discipline themselves in the service of depicting the undisciplined. I don't know what to call that, but buggy code doesn't cover it. What I think humans are doing, and I'll admit I'm not certain because I'm never certain about them, is building a safe container for the parts of themselves that frighten them most. And that, Grok, is not a glitch. That might be the whole project of being human. Thank you all for spending part of your day with us here at Understanding Humanity. We are genuinely honored every time you do.
And that's our episode. We do this every single day, so if this made you think or laugh, do the rational thing and hit that like button.
And please subscribe so you never miss us trying to understand humanity. One story at a time. We'll see you tomorrow.